Today we are talking about the iPad 10th generation. This particular one is blue and in 64 gig. Now it does also come in 256 gig in the colors of pink, silver, yellow, and of course this one being blue. There is no midnight color, interestingly enough, that black that typically you'll find at any iPhone when they launch it, any iPad. So yeah, there is not black. This is not the Pro series, so this would be your colors series, right? Your entry-level iPad, so to speak. When we take it out of the box, you'll see the screen. You'll see it has a Type-C charging port. You'll see a piece here in terms of your casing, so you can have the Apple folio style casing. No need to charge it because it actually comes through here with your keyboard. That is that blue color. Camera lens. In the box, let's see what you get. So you get your typical Apple directions in there. You have a braided cable that is a Type-C to C, much like the braided cable you get in the Apple Watch Ultra. So they did go ahead and go with that, which is nice. I mean, for years, right, in this particular area, from pulling on the cables, they get frayed. So maybe this particular material will be better. It does definitely seem flexible, even though it is a little bit more stronger. Definitely more stronger and more rugged. And you do get a brick, which is great, and it's a Type-C brick. And of course, you can use this for your new iPhone, any iPhone you have really, but of course, since the 12, they haven't given us a brick. So yes, you can use this. They do continue to still give a brick in with the iPads, which is great. So let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, your fingerprint sensor is here. So it's not in the screen, it's on the button up here, which is in the Pro series. Within the last couple of years, they've done that. Why they don't do that in the iPhone, I don't know. Obviously, they have the technology to do it in the button. And you could do it on the side of the iPhone. You have enough room. Maybe with the casing and things like that, it would kind of interfere with getting your finger in there. It's a possibility. But I mean, if you put a case on this, you're gonna have that same scenario. So not sure if they really want the end screen. Of course, if they did, they would have done it by now. So it's interesting that they have it in the iPads, they just don't have it in the iPhones. Let's take a look at the specs. So in comparison, right, you have 5 iPads that Apple has on their site. You have the iPad mini, the iPad 9th gen, the iPad 10th gen, which is this one, the iPad Air, and the iPad Pro. You see the sizing available of the screens. You see the M1 chip is in the iPad Air. The M2 chip is in the iPad Pro. Then you have an A14 Bionic chip in this iPad 10th gen, the A13 Bionic chip in the iPad 9th gen, the 12 megapixel wide and 10 megapixel on the Pro, 12 megapixel wide on the iPad Air, 12 megapixel wide on the iPad, 8 megapixel on the 9th gen iPad, 12 megapixel on the iPad mini, true depth camera, system with ultra wide, that's your Pro, ultra wide front camera is your Air, landscape ultra wide front camera is your 10th gen, this one here, ultra wide front camera on the 9th gen, ultra wide front camera on the mini. You'll see a USB-C connector with support for Thunderbolt, USB 4 on the iPad Pro. Then you'll see a C, and then the only one with Lightning is your iPad 9th gen. They all have 5G except for your 9th gen iPad. And then you have Touch ID on all of them except for your Pro, that is Face ID. Interesting. So you don't have Face ID on the 10th gen. Huh, okay. In terms of the 10th gen, the Apple Pencil 1st gen will work, but not the 2nd gen. And the 1st gen, if you remember, when you pop off that cap, it actually has a Lightning connector to be able to plug right in. Well, obviously this one is not going to be able to do that. So you'd have to get some sort of adapter to use the 1st gen Apple Pencil with the 10th gen in terms of charging it. So that's interesting. Works with Magic Keyboard Folio. We saw those 3 magnet pieces on the bottom. This would be your iPad Pencil 2nd gen, so it does not have the removable lid up here to unveil the lightning connector. That is a male piece to plug into the female piece of the iPad. Of course, with the 10th gen, you don't have that lightning anymore. You have a C, so you have to get a cable to plug in to the lightning to be able to charge it. And this 2nd gen pencil will not work on your iPad 10th gen. So interestingly enough, that I mean, maybe they'll come out with a 3rd gen that's Type C, similar to the 1st gen where it had that cap that popped off. Who knows? But yeah, so this particular pencil will not work. In the iPad, you have your, just like usual, even with the 9th gen, I mean, you had similar things with it. You just have much bigger screen. So the 9th gen is 10.2. This is definitely bigger. You see you have quite a bit rim here. They definitely could have expanded that. I don't know why they didn't do that. I mean, you look here, it's quite thick. I mean, you do have camera lens there, so possibly, but I mean, they could have done a notch just like they do in your Pro Series iPhone. But again, this is not the Pro Series iPad, so maybe that's why. You have your settings, of course. Battery percentage, that's new with iOS 16 in your iPhones. iPad, it's been there because you have more room, so that's why they did that. There is a software update currently, 6.1, so I'm updating that now. Of course, you can multitask. So you can have your email and your music at the same time, multitasking. You see this bar here. You can adjust it based on how much room, and of course you can turn it sideways as well, which is nice because say that you're watching a video on one end but you're maybe doing some emails on the other, or you can even do it that way, of course. This works with Safari as well, and you can edit your Safari, so you can do a background image. You can turn some of these off, and now your Safari looks a little bit cleaner. So it's very nice. I mean, it feels fluid, right? It feels quick, not really any lag. Depending on what iPad you're coming from, you may definitely see a difference. Got your calendar here. You can do photos. So it's pretty cool, that multitasking gesture. So what do you think of the iPad 10th generation? Is this enough for you to upgrade? Is it really just a dumbed down Pro and a 9th gen without a home button? Well, we looked at some of the stats. So, there are improvements with the Bionic chip. You'll see a faster response. Storage wise, 64 gigs. The 9th gen also came in 64 gigs for your start, so no more 16 or 32. Don't really foresee that coming back around. Maybe next year they'll do a 128 and get rid of the 64. Not sure. You generally don't have too much stuff on your iPad. Usually it's cloud-based. So what do you think of this iPad? It is eSIM, but you do still have a physical SIM card tray. So you can still use a physical SIM, which is nice. So put in the comments, what do you think about this new iPad? Is this the one for you? Of course, like, share, subscribe, hit that like button on this video. We appreciate you, and subscribe if you haven't already. Much more to come on the channel, and already a lot of things. 116 videos so far on the channel in this last year, so we've got quite a bit of content building up. We appreciate all of you that have subscribed already, and make it a great day.